I'm keeping up with schedules, surprisingly, but today I thought I would do a bit of a tag just because I don't have much updates for reading. I am getting through it, however slowly, but I am enjoying them so far. But this tag is the Booktube newbie tag, and I thought that this would be a good introduction, a proper one. So let's get down to it. I have the questions right here in a sheet of paper because I have an atrocious memory, so I'll just read off from them if you see me looking down. So why did you start this channel? I started this channel because I love talking about books. However, I don't have a lot of people where I live to talk about books too. There are a few people who I work with that read, but again, that's work, so you gotta work. But and I have my boyfriend who doesn't mind, actually he quite enjoys hearing me talk about books, but I really can go on about a book, so I thought that this would be a very good option, and it's sort of like a giant book club, which I really like, and I thought that would be a really good thing. And I have actually, another good point is that I've been a fan of Booktube since I was about 15 years old. I'm 20 now, nearly 21 in next month. So it's been a bit of a while, and ever since then I've wanted to be a part of it. And just a bit of a side note, the first ever booktuber I watched was Paul and Banana Books. Yeah. So the second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I don't know yet. I have planned out quite a few videos, however they aren't really unique because a lot has already been done, so it would be difficult to find something that hasn't been done yet. But I will be thinking about all of that, and I am planning videos at the moment, so that way I have videos to do, and I'm looking forward to filming those videos. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I am most excited about talking about books and also sharing my love of books with fellow bookworms, and also meeting more people in one form or another, even if it's online, who are interested in what I like to read, and also finding more to read as well, which I think would be really, really good too. Okay, the next one. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it's a very good escape. I get overwhelmed a lot due to anxiety, and so I find reading a very good way to take it away from that. So it's sort of like, if things are a bit chaotic in that moment, then I will find time to read. But unfortunately lately I've been rather busy and I haven't really had much time to read, because when I'm not reading, I'm either trying to socialize or I'm sleeping. So yeah. What book or series got you into reading? I don't know. I started reading at a really young age, and I started reading novels at a young age as well. So I'm not really sure what got me into reading, but it's just been with me ever since. I've always enjoyed it. I guess probably reading fairy tales, because I read them a lot, and my mum had a book of fairy tales from around the world, and she would read them to me a lot when I was a little girl, and then I was able to read them, so I'd probably say the book of fairy tales she had. We don't have it anymore, unfortunately. We lost it when we moved, which isn't too good. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So my favorite booktubers would be Kaylin Abroad. I'm not too sure how to say her last name, if it's abridged or abroad. I'm really sorry. And also Brittany, you know, the bibliophile. I really like them. They've always been like, well, Kaylin is new to Booktube, but I think she's very, very good. It's kind of like she's always been a part of Booktube, and we've only just found out about it, if that makes sense. But probably the question I would ask them would be, what sort of advice would you give to new booktubers, and how do you feel about new people coming into it? What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it would be time. Next year I will be studying a different course, and that one isn't online. It's both online and on campus, and there will also be prac assignments for me to do. So I would be like going to well, schools and learn and assisting with teaching and things like that. So that would be very exciting, but at the moment, time. So I'm using this month and January to figure out how I'm going to sort this out, and I start studying in February. So there's that. And also anxiety. So I actually have filmed a lot of videos. It's just I didn't post them due to my anxiety. And I am feeling a bit more comfortable now, but I still am so terrified at the same time. But everyone again is so lovely and nice in this community, so I'm sure they will understand. And I hope you guys do as well, the people who do not watch this video, apart from my boyfriend and a few of my friends. But if you're not one of them and you're watching this, hey, that's really nice of you. I'm a tragedy. It's like, yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm very anxious and awkward. So yes, time and anxiety would be the hardest things for me to overcome, but I am determined to overcome them. So there's that. Next question. When did you start reading? Very young. I don't actually remember when I started reading, but my mom said that I started reading, in her opinion, like a bit early. I've always just found reading something very interesting. I like stories, I like imagining things, I also love telling stories. I like to write short stories. I used to post them on Wattpad until my account got hacked. That's a story for another day. But it was mainly that. So I started reading when I was very young. I don't actually remember, but I do remember learning how to read. So before then, I actually used to make up stories, but I would like use my words instead, and I would just speak them, and my mum would write them down. And that was before I could like read and write, because I was a little girl. But yeah, so I'd just say very young. That was a bit of a tangent there, I'm sorry. Where do you read? So I kind of live on the train because I don't drive, and which is a bit odd because I'll be 21 early in January, but I am going to get my learners. It's just that I'm very nervous and scared because in Perth they kind of drill it into your head that driving can be dangerous, and it has terrified me. So I mainly read on the train, and besides that, I would probably be reading in cafes during my breaks at work, or in bed, or on the couch. Sometimes outside, but lately it's been really cold. And I know you guys aren't going to believe me because I'm in Australia, but Victoria does have winter. It snows here in the mountains, and I live in the mountains, just not high up enough for it to snow, but high enough for it to be freezing. So it's been really cold lately, and my boyfriend says it's not that cold because he grew up here, and I'm like, I'm from Perth. We have a year-long summer. It's cold here, okay? So I could buy a ugly Christmas sweater and just wear it and be fine. Like, I'm kind of having a white Christmas, but with rain clouds instead of snow. But besides that, probably the bath. Bit of a TMI, but yeah. So yes, train, sometimes outside if the weather is nice, cafes, or the bath, or bed. There's the bed as well, because, oh, I just messed my hair up then. Nothing is more fun and comforting than reading in bed. Yeah. Next question. Actually last question. What kind of books do you like to read? I like to read a bit of everything. I really like the classics. I love fairy tales, anything that has Vikings or fairies in it. So as you can tell, I'm probably a big fan of Sarah J. Maas. I think I have raved about her in one of my other videos. So I love fairies, books with fairies in them, books with magic. I love fantasy. I read a lot of new adult and young adult as well, but I read a bit of everything. Just whatever I fancy. I'm not reading as much contemporary as I used to, but I have picked more books of that up. I also do read fan fiction. I love fan fiction. I think it is amazing, even though the writing can be a bit different. And even I used to write fan fiction, so as you can tell, I have those writing habits. I had to learn how to get out of them in the writing course I'm in, but in my opinion, they're still really, really good. I love people's imagination and seeing how it works, but I mainly read fantasy, things with Vikings or fairies, fan fiction. I used to read a lot of dystopian fiction, but I find a lot of it is becoming a lot of the same, so I have come out of that. But I want to read more like steampunk sort of books, or like I used to read really, really dark fiction. So I've been trying to find things like that, but the ones that have been recommended to me, I haven't really been interested in, or I've tried to pick them up and it just didn't work. Sort of like with, what was it, Nevernight or Nevermore? I can't remember is the title, but it had like a crow on it and it had a talking cat, and I just wasn't very interested in it. To be honest, I don't remember much of it. But it doesn't make it a bad book, it just means it wasn't for me. So I am kind of picky and choosy, but I also kind of read a bit of everything. I don't know if that really answers the question, and that was another tangent. I've done like 3 in this video, but that's all of the questions. That's all of my answers. I hope those suffice, and that this video isn't too all over the place with my answers, but that's the best I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed filming it and I enjoyed planning it as well. Have a good one. Bye.